Hello, welcome to Eye on Africa here on France 24. I'm Yunko Itade. The headlines. Enough is enough. The chant of hundreds taking to the streets of Liberia's capital in anti-government protests. Anger boiling over against President Joseph Boakai's government, with protesters decrying corruption and economic mismanagement. Africa is the top destination for Chinese investment, with Beijing's Belt and Road Initiative in the continent hitting record highs this year. A new report highlighting that Africa poured in over $30 billion of Chinese financing in the first few months of 2025. And South Africa marks Mandela Day. Residents in Cape Town rolling up their sleeves to give back, holding an annual soup kitchen event, this time round in the city's biggest stadium. Boakai is a rogue. That's one of the anti-government slogans slashed on placards during protests in the Liberian capital. Hundreds took to the streets Thursday, angry over perceived corruption in President Joseph Boakai's government and democratic backsliding in the West African country. Critics also accuse Boakai of economic mismanagement. Protesters say they are concerned about the rising cost of living, alleged police misconduct, and political pressure on opposition voices.
Braving the rain, placards in hand, hundreds of protesters took to the streets of Monrovia to voice their anger. They accused President Joseph Boakai and his government of corruption, financial abuse, and of mismanaging the country's economy.
I'm very angry that why I'm in the street today, that they're going to better our lives. How can you say you came to better the life of the people, but then you came and you took people from jobs?
When this new government took over, they said they were not going to downsize anybody. I'm just 55 years old, but they downsized me.
President Joseph Boakai took office in January 2024 after winning the presidential election. His campaign was based on three major promises: establishing an inclusive government, fighting corruption, and setting up a war crimes tribunal.
Liberians voted for Joseph Boakai because he has 40 years' experience. Let him do the right thing for us Liberian people.
President Boakai says he is firmly fighting corruption. In February, more than 450 civil servants, including ministers and ambassadors, were sacked for failing to declare their assets within a specific time frame. The country is seeking stability after two devastating civil wars between 1989 and 2003, which cost the lives of some 250,000 people.
Let's go to the Democratic Republic of Congo, where teenage pregnancy rates are among the highest in the world. Pregnant girls are often turned away from classrooms, but that could be changing. The government is stepping in to stop the practice and keep the girls in school. Still, there's pushback from the Catholic Church, which is influential in the country. Emma Livingstone reports now from Kinshasa.
It's been a long-running controversy in Congo. Girls who get pregnant are often excluded from classrooms, with knock-on effects on their education and indeed their entire lives. The men and boys who get them pregnant, however, face no such restrictions. This week, Congo's Education Ministry decided to put a stop to the practice. It issued a circular stating that schools must not exclude pregnant girls, a decision that was hailed by some rights groups. Late on Thursday, Congolese government spokesman Patrick Muyaya said that excluding pregnant girls from school was discriminatory, as well as being a violation of the Congolese constitution, which recognises education as a fundamental right. He urged a greater emphasis on sex education in schools and called for social taboos to be re-examined. But the issue remains contested in Congo, which is generally a socially conservative country and where the Catholic Church remains highly influential. Abbot Donatien Nshole, a leading Congolese Catholic priest, said this week that having pregnant girls in the classroom was, and I quote, unacceptable. Separately, the Catholic Church also said that it would direct pregnant girls enrolled in its own schools to go to state-run schools instead.
Next, China's Belt and Road Initiative is booming, hitting record highs this year. That's according to a new report from the Griffith Asia Institute. Africa was found to be the top destination for investment. The continent has pulled in over $30 billion in Chinese financing so far in 2025. That's nearly 5 times more than the same period last year. While China's infrastructure projects are reshaping Africa's landscape, they are also raising serious concerns. Critics say the environmental toll is growing, and socially the picture isn't much better. Many workers employed by Chinese firms say they are being underpaid.
The Nigerian-China Belt and Road Initiative attests to the potential of cooperation amongst nations. According to reports, it offers Nigeria vast opportunities in infrastructure development, trade expansion, energy security, and cultural exchange. BRI has played a crucial role in financing and constructing key infrastructure projects in Nigeria, such as major rail lines and ports. On the other hand, Nigeria's vast resources are an important source of crude and other minerals for China's rapid growing economy. In May 2025, oil and gas were the top exports of Nigeria to China for a worth over $150 million. Nigeria, the most populous country in Africa, is also strategically located, giving China access to the West African market. But the Nigerian-China partnership is not without challenges and concern. Some critics have voiced concern about debt sustainability. Nigeria must ensure that BRI projects are economically viable and that the debt burden remains manageable, amongst many others.
Let's take a look at other stories making headlines across the continent now. The International Energy Agency is sounding the alarm in a report showing that 1 billion Africans cook on open fires or use harmful fuels. It's a deadly practice that pollutes indoor and outdoor air, triggering respiratory and heart diseases. The IEA, estimating that it causes 815,000 premature deaths every year across the continent. The International Criminal Court says a Libyan war crimes suspect has been arrested in Germany. Khalid Mohammed Ali al-Shishri is accused of being a top official at a notorious prison where inmates faced routine torture and sexual abuse. Al-Shishri is believed to have been part of a special deterrence force during Libya's civil war. The suspect is set to stay in German custody as national proceedings move forward. And it's a historic move. Kenya pays compensation to 4 women who were victims of sexual violence during 2007's post-election chaos. It's the first payout of its kind in the country. Rights groups say at least 900 people suffered brutal assaults, including gang rape and castration, in the aftermath of the vote. Each of the 4 victims are set to receive $31,000. Turning the desert into an oasis. That's the bold mission of Moroccan scientists tackling extreme water scarcity. Their solution is capturing fog and turning it into clean drinking water. It's an ingenious invention that's bringing hope to some of the country's driest regions. Jennifer Ben-Brahim has the story.
Abdesalam Amiri's olive trees are dead, killed by the drought that's gripped Morocco for the past 6 years.
We used to call this land faid, literally abundant water. There was water everywhere, end of story. It used to be a region where there was enough water. Now, if you want to find it, you have to dig 160 or even 240 meters. But to drill that deep, you need money. Look, everything is dry. There isn't a drop of water left there. There's nothing left. Everything is dead. And all of this is because of the drought.
He can no longer sell his olives. The vineyards also burnt down. Like him, many Moroccans are suffering from the lack of water. The country has experienced record heat waves of up to 50 degrees Celsius, and there's been less rain each year. The most isolated mountain villages are on the front line. In southern Morocco, these scientists set themselves a challenge to find water for those who no longer have any. And they succeeded. These huge nets, installed at altitudes above 1,200 meters, capture fog to extract water.
You see these nets? They're three-dimensional. So when the fog gets here, it's trapped. It's like a kind of spider web. And so the water has time to get trapped, to trickle down here. And then from there, it goes to the cistern below where everything is stored.
The location is ideal. The Sidi Ifni region is regularly covered in thick fog that gets pushed into the nets by cold currents from the ocean. This 100% green system collects an average of 37,000 litres of water each day. which is then distributed to neighbouring villages.
أهلا لاباس دار نسكر التمثيل لاباس أنا ما نغيدكش ميزان لي.
For about €4 a month, families now have access to running water.
Avant ils allaient dans des puits.
Before they used wells, and with wells, there's not always a guarantee of water. With drought, the wells are depleted. With climate change, it's even worse. And now, for them, it's like a miracle, because collecting fog water and having water in this abundance is almost impossible to imagine.
Now we have water at home and we don't have to walk for hours anymore. When it's hot, we can just turn on the tap.
Today, nearly 1,000 people have access to water thanks to this project. Morocco, which has the world's largest fog traps, plans to install more nets to combat both climate change and water shortages.
Now, today is Mandela Day, where people around the world mark and celebrate Nelson Mandela's legacy and lifelong fight for human rights. Across South Africa, people are rolling up their sleeves to give back. In Cape Town, this year's festivities have drawn so many people that an annual soup kitchen event had to move to the city's biggest stadium. Tom Canetti has more now from Cape Town.
Every 18th of July, South Africans come together to dedicate 67 minutes of their time to community service, based on the 67 years that Nelson Mandela dedicated to fighting for human rights. Here at Cape Town Stadium, some people, some volunteers, made collages for children, while others took part in the famous sandwich run, where they made sandwiches for homeless people and people living in disadvantaged communities in Cape Town.
52, so it's about 510 sandwiches that we made.
Lost count?
Yes, it's got so busy, we enjoyed it. It was fun.
Don't just think about yourself. You need to look after the rest of the country and give more of yourself. It's not about yourself, it's about serving the nation, building the nation.
The more we work together with love, we make more love. I don't know.
This is the first time they've held the event at the Cape Town Stadium, a sign of how much it's growing each year.
Today we try and create as many volunteer opportunities as possible to allow people to come and just be kind. That simple.
This year saw 6,000 attendees, with many more across the country mobilising to give back to their community.
Well, that's it from all of us on the Eye on Africa team. Thanks so much for your company and stay tuned. There's plenty more news to come.
Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith.
All the latest in politics, economics and the arts in Africa on France 24. Our journalists are in every region, every country, to report on the emergence of a continent of unparalleled riches, bringing you Africa's stories on France 24.
Thanks for joining us. Peace again. Take care.
Liberté, égalité, actualité.